Good evening, everyone. Nivola here again. And after having looked at some stuff from Scotland and Japan and Australia and the US, this evening I want to talk about two expressions of Canadian Club, Canadian whisky. And we have the usual Canadian Club, and we have a 12-year-old Canadian Club. I've poured a little of each in these glasses, and I don't know how well you can see the colours, but this one, the ordinary Canadian Club, is a really bright straw colour. The 12-year-old is a deep amber colour. Now, Canadian Club, the usual Canadian Club, is put in white oak barrels for about 6 years. It's sold at 37% alcohol, and generally it's around $36 to $40 for a 700ml bottle. Very recognisable brand. The 12-year-old has been for those first 6 years in the white oak, and then for a further 6 years it's put in a charred oak barrel. And the colour is quite remarkably different. This one runs at 40% alcohol and generally is in the $60 to $65 range, so a little more expensive than this. Let's try them. Okay, the ordinary Canadian Club has got certainly rye and nuts, and it's really fresh. The older Canadian Club certainly has some of that, but it has more caramel and vanilla and almond paste. I don't know whether you've ever had the liqueur amaretto. There's actually a hint of that sort of nose. Let's try them. So that's the ordinary Canadian Club, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's fresh, it's relatively smooth, there's a little bit of bite in it. It's simple, it's nice, it's one-dimensional. Whereas the 12-year-old is really smooth. It's caramel and toffee, and there's that charred oak from those extra barrels that it's been put in for those 6 years. The finish of this one is pleasant, clean. This one's long and balanced and really salivating, and there's a surge which takes place at the back of the palate. Some might describe it as a bit medicinal, and I must remember that for the next cold I have. This one often ends up mixed with dry ginger or cola, which is a bit of a waste really, because it's quite a nice drink by itself. But this one's certainly a great example of giving whisky time in barrel and the great improvements that can be made to it. I wish the Tasmanian whisky makers would realise that time in barrel is important. I like it. Thank you for listening.